So Candice Miller, here in the blue dress, is a rising sophomore at the University of Michigan who is interested in science and health. In the future, Candice hopes to focus her health interest on women's and children's health and how they are interrelated. Candice is a part of the Michigan Community Scholars Program, a first-year learning community that participates in community service in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, and Detroit within the United States. Through this program, Candice has been exposed to community issues that are related to problems that stem from race, gender, and socioeconomic status inequality. Candice will be returning to the Michigan Community Scholars Program in the fall as a peer advisor for the Intergroup Relation Council. Candice also serves as a LSA Student Dean Ambassador for the Liberal Arts College at the University of Michigan. In the middle here we have Jacqulyn Nolan Needham, who graduated from the University of Michigan Ann Arbor in 2007 with a BA in Women's Studies. For 3 years, she worked as Program and Development Director at Discovering Options, a social service agency that empowered at-risk youth in Ferguson, Missouri to find their voice and avoid substance abuse. She then took her nonprofit skills to the corporate healthcare world, where she worked tirelessly for the past 5 years to expand Medicaid in 18 states. In addition, Jacqulyn has started her own real estate and property management company dedicated to quality, equal housing opportunities for all. Her passions include coffee, travel, yoga, DIY projects, gardening, and advocating for LGBTQ equality. She currently lives in St. Louis, Missouri with her amazing wife and their 2 puppies. Lucia Gugu, also known as Mama Gugu, served at the University of Zululand for 34 years before her retirement in 2013. She served the institution as a lecturer of education and later history. A dedicated teacher and community worker, Ms. Gugu spent her working life to serve her community, spending 14 years at UniZulu as the university's international linkages officer. Her responsibilities included founding, establishing, and sustaining partnerships with international institutions and organizations. Her job also meant she oversaw successful joint funding proposals with various international partner institutions. A successful application meant that Ms. Gule managed the implementation of the project at UniZulu. It was in this capacity that Ms. Gule opened UniZulu to various international institutional partnerships and collaborations, which opened the university to a number of project-based incoming and outgoing international short-term visits and stays. Under her leadership, a sizable number of UniZulu staff and students received scholarships that allowed them to further their studies at reputable international universities. Indeed, it was in this capacity that Ms. Gule met and linked the dynamic pedagogy of action with UniZulu. In her retirement, Ms. Gule continues her service to the university and community on a volunteer basis. Let's welcome these panelists.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
As Raina said, my name is Jacqulyn Nolan Needham. I am POA alumni from 2007. And after 8 years, I have returned home to my POA family. So this is my second trip to South Africa. And after yesterday's retreat, in which 30 of us vigorously and passionately discussed the future of the pedagogy of action, it became clear to me that POA is subjective as ever, and it truly does mean something different for each of us. But although that meaning may vary, the degree of influence it has had on each of our lives is profound. For me, the POA has been a lens in which I view the world. It has offered me a framework in which I can meaningfully engage with the world around me. It lives within me, and it has transcended my location and my career path. It has taught me that my life has consequence and that I am responsible for my community. To me, the pedagogy of action is transformation. It is that divine moment when someone's life is transformed by their own abilities. And I believe in that moment, that is everything. It is a truth that you discover about yourself that once uncovered, it can never be denied. No matter what uncertainties lie ahead, and regardless of the changes and challenges that your life will certainly endure, no one can ever take that power from you. And the pedagogy of action was that transformation for me. And I have been privileged to witness that transformation in my students in South Africa and also in Ferguson, Missouri. And it's been in those moments that I have found an unexplainable joy and satisfaction within myself. And that is why POA is sacred to me. It is a truth that I feel so deep to the core of who I am. And life outside the POA sanctuary can be loud, and it pulls you in a million different directions. But for me, POA means to struggle with that push and pull and confront whether or not I am living up to my full potential and serving my community to the best of my abilities. And it is this struggle, which I know to be real and true, that has served as a catalyst for me to continually renegotiate the terms of my life and the ways I'm going to serve my community. So POA is not easy, it is not comfortable, but in my experience, it has always been worth the struggle.
Hi everyone, as Raina said, I'm Candice. As I was thinking this morning, what does POA mean to me? And in Johannesburg, we had a conference, and I wasn't on any panel, and Nisha told me, she said, just watch, I think you'll know what POA is better when we get to Durban. She was kind of right, but I'm still also learning what POA is, as everyone else is. This definition of what it is, it's constantly transforming, it constantly changes, yet it stays the same, so it's kind of strange. But as I was thinking earlier, POA is learning how to express love. Love is, it's really weird because everyone expresses love differently. And I thought about my mother when I thought about the way love is expressed, because my mother doesn't say I love you too often. She isn't a person that is going to tell you, I love you, Candice, in every second, but she shows me. And so I thought about how I express love, how my mother expressed love, and then when I met up with my POA family, how did I know it was love? Because everyone expresses love differently, but we talk about how we know we love each other. So how did we know it was love? When we seen each other, when we interacted with each other. So that was interesting that we knew we loved each other from the time almost that we met. And so now I think about before I left the States, I went to Detroit where my aunt lives, and I drove and I parked my car in front of her house, and I walked into her house, and she didn't know I was coming, and I told her, once I walked through the door, I said, "Hey, Auntie," as I typically say to her, and she looked up and she looked surprised, and she said, "Oh, my baby." And so she knew I was leaving, but she didn't know if I was coming to see her before I left. And she jumped up and she hugged me. And my aunt doesn't cry much. My mom doesn't cry much. So I think that's why I just collect all of their tears. Because I promise you, I cry about every little thing. And so she jumped up and she started crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? And my cousin asked the same thing. And she said, I don't know. And my aunt is 75 years old. She's one of the oldest of my mother's 12 siblings. And she couldn't tell us why she was crying. But at that moment, I knew she loved me. And I knew she would miss me for the month that I was gone. And so, being here with POA, I knew it was love by the time that people took with me to help me learn the process. By the many hours that I sat in Nisha's office trying to figure out what POA was. By my brothers and sisters listening to me. And so my aunts and my uncles and my mom, even though they don't cry or say I love you too much, they are my warriors. And so when I came here, I seen those same warriors in my POA family. And so POA is a group full of warriors. In POA, whether the people we work with, they become warriors. They are warriors before we get here, actually. And when we reach them, we become warriors as well. Warriors for love and warriors of support. So I found the POA as a support system. And even though I'm starting out my journey at the university, I find that I won't lose this support system. So from me to you, I want you all to think of POA as being a troop of warriors that are always fighting and always expressing love, even though it's in different ways. And so when you go back home, you might see that your family members express love differently, but also think of them as warriors.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Don't cry, Nisha. Please don't get me started. Yesterday, as I drove around, I'm not going to say where. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I saw a miserable sign that read Rape Crisis Center. I say miserable because it didn't inspire me as a place where you could go if you have been raped and you need the confidence and the reassurance that all is going to be well. I am not being critical here. All I'm saying is rape is one of the reasons why we have so much HIV/AIDS infection around the country. And we need to be alert, to be present, I quote, to the burning bushes. When I read the piece that Fazila wrote on the POA, the one that is in your programs, I just felt that she said everything that I wanted to say about what the POA is to me. So there's nothing for me to say anymore. This is just, I'm just passing through this one. My other daughter, I have two, has written a book. And in that book, there's something about me and humility. All I want to say about that piece is that Gule or Mama Gugu or Mama G is not humble. I don't consider myself humble at all, but that is how she looks at me. What I have taken away from the POA over the years is that it creates enduring friendships that run across the oceans. Even in our case, we are so lucky. It also creates unity that is so palpable that even in your most quiet moment, I quote again on yesterday's reflection, and people struggling with it. And it also creates the kind of love that enables one to do things even under the most difficult circumstances. You know, the notion of when the going catch-ups, some of us that are older can even sing that ditty this day. I'll just spare you the agony. Andile and Stay, we have a lot of work to do. I'll let you into a secret. Yesterday, Nisha threw out some numbers with regard to what the POA did at Zululand. And I want to assure you that it continues to do, because the numerous students that we produced, the teachers, the nurses, the psychologists, the doctors, the lawyers, the government officials. UniZulu is famous for producing all the government officials in parliament today. And I'm very proud to say that they are doing a brilliant job. Those people at one point were peer educators at the UniZulu HIV/AIDS program. And when those teachers got out to schools, no wonder the life orientation subject has got the highest marks in the country, even though it doesn't allow you to go to the university. It doesn't count. But all the students get the highest mark there. The information is out there. And our peer educators are some of those who have made that happen. The nurses, you name it, they are out there and they're doing, and they are multiplying those numbers on a daily basis. And that is something that you could be proud of. That is why I say we never finish, this is on the side again, any diocesan Nisha is going to kill me meeting without mentioning our conveyancer, who is going to be responsible for alleviating some of the problems we have. That is proud. And Stay, I think it's time you left Nkandla and the privileges associated with Nkandla so that we can effectively continue the work which I know that you are doing very effectively there. I think us being here today means a new beginning, me included. I'm skipping most of this. To me, POA is about taking a stand. It is about standing up to be counted. It's about being in it for the long haul. Nisha is always on my case. I remember all the beautiful POA ambassadors. Some of them are not here with us today, but I remember them with love and fondness. And I know that they are doing a good job wherever they are. Because Nisha made sure that before they boarded that plane to come to South Africa, they understood that staying in as a UniZulu guest house was a far cry from their beds at home. And they came, nevertheless. And they never woke me up at 12. They were not among that group, even though I was woken up at 12 at some stages. The POA ambassadors never did that to me. They loved me too much. I talked about an enduring love. They love me too much to do that to me. And they are part of the reason I wake up every day and thank the Lord that I am who I am. And I met you, Nisha, and my beautiful children, all of you who are here, and all the colleagues who have come to be here with us today to say that we are here to stay. And there is a lot of work to be done. I have at the back of my mind the proud faces of the deep rural women from the university's neighborhood who started to attend the workshops, being afraid even to attend the workshops because they were living in their own homes. Very sick children, they did not have, they could not help bring back to life. And today, they are proud health workers that are helping not only their own families, but the community at large, not just to fight the scourge, but they go to those houses as health workers and volunteers. They are now earning a living, and they are helping out, and there is no fear in themselves that they are going to contract the disease. And the confusion and the ignorance is gone. They are very proud. Okay, I remember that there were those who came when it was going to be lunchtime and left immediately thereafter. But don't you ever doubt that when you went there and you did what you did, and the students continue to do that in whatever environments that they went to during the holidays all over South Africa, and translated the module into more languages than isiZulu. You can't do better than that. Can I stop here, please? I think there's a lot to be done yet. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.
All right, as Candice said, we all express in different ways, and so I hope that there will be more tears today, hopefully mostly of joy. But please feel free to feel what you feel. There's a lot going on, and it's very exciting. So in true